What's up guys, Jay here, and welcome to Myth Mondays, a weekly show where I talk about an urban myth or legend I've stumbled across on the internet. This week, the Mary Celeste. One of the greatest legends of the sea is the mystery of the brigantine, the Mary Celeste, which according to common knowledge was discovered at sea, totally deserted. The master and crew had suddenly vanished into thin air, their clothing was found perfectly dry, and a vial of oil was found balanced on a sewing machine in the captain's cabin. The legend tells of steaming mugs of tea, breakfasts half eaten, and a clock ticking backwards. On November 5th, 1872, under command of Captain Briggs, the Mary Celeste docked on New York City's East River and took on board a cargo of 1,701 barrels of commercial alcohol intended for fortifying Italian wines on behalf of Missionaria Ackerman & Co. It was worth about $35,000. The ship and cargo together were insured for $46,000. The Mary Celeste then set sail from Staten Island for Genoa, Italy. In addition to her captain and crew of 7, she carried the captain's wife, who had sailed with her husband many times, and their 2-year-old daughter. Thus, 10 people were aboard. Briggs had spent most of his life at sea, and had captained at least 5 ships and owned many more. The crew for this voyage included a Dane and 4 Germans, but all spoke fluent English, had exemplary records, and were considered experienced, trustworthy, and able seamen. The first mate and cook were Americans. On November 19th, 1872, the Mary Celeste was found at sea by another cargo ship, the Dei Gratia, completely abandoned. After doing the routine check of the ship, the results came up empty. There was no sign of violence or a struggle on the ship. All the crew of the Dei Gratia found was half-eaten breakfasts and a single grandfather clock, on which the time read 11:37 a.m. This was the exact time the Mary Celeste set sail from New York. It would seem the voyage was doomed from the start. Since her discovery in 1872, many theories have been proposed to explain the mystery of the Mary Celeste. One reporter suggested that the Mary Celeste may have fallen victim to an act of piracy. The crew murdered and thrown overboard, as Ottoman pirates have been known to operate in the area. However, there were no signs of violence on the Mary Celeste. Only common navigational equipment was missing. It is unlikely that the pirates would fail to remove the cargo of the crew's valuables after killing the crew. The most plausible explanations are all based on the barrels of alcohol. Captain Briggs had never hauled such a dangerous cargo before and did not trust it. The idea was put forth by the ship's major shareholder, James Winchester, and is the most widely accepted explanation for the crew's disappearance. 9 of the 1,701 barrels of alcohol in the hold later discovered to be empty. They had been made of red oak, not white oak as the others. Red oak is more porous and thus more likely to emit vapour. This would have caused a build-up of vapour in the hold. Poorly secured barrels could rub against each other, and friction between the barrels' steel bands could cause sparks. The possibility of explosion, however remote, may have panicked the crew into abandoning the ship. In popular culture, the mystery of the Mary Celeste has been used frequently as an icon for sailors and writers alike. Nevertheless, the question still remains, what did happen to the crew of the Mary Celeste, and why did the clock in Briggs' quarters stop at the exact same time the crew left New York? It would seem they were doomed from the start.